A question I'm often asked is, can I contract with my visa? Well, the simple answer is, it depends on the person, their circumstances, and the visa. Ideally, if you're a British national or an EU national, then it's easy. However, there are a large number of people searching for jobs in the London marketplace with different kinds of visa who aren't British and don't have an EU passport. I don't propose to explain the whole visa system. However, I can highlight some of the key visas and how relevant they are. The Tier 2 visa is used really for people to actually obtain a job with an employer. Now, to get this, the company have to apply for the visa, not the individual, and the company have to be a registered and approved licensed company. Now, most companies have to be Category A and have to have a good infrastructure to support the requirements necessary to keep this visa. You need to be with a company, therefore, that are able to actually maintain a good reputation and look after you. The problem with this is that you're not able to contract because you have to be employed by the company that sponsor you. So as a contractor, you're going to be working for other people, and to have that Tier 2 visa would mean that you'd be breaching the regulations that are applied to that visa if you were to go out contracting. The next is the Tier 5 visa. Now, this is traditionally, from years gone by, called a holiday working visa. It's now referred to as a youth mobility visa. Now, the Tier 5 visa is actually something that is very suitable for contracting. Usually by default, because many companies know that you're only allowed to work in the UK for up to 2 years, and you're only supposed to be taking temporary jobs. So they're reluctant really to offer you a permanent job. So if you're actually here to basically do some travelling and work for extensive periods of time to be able to finance that travelling, and IT contracting can fulfill that role for you, then the Tier 5 visa can be ideal. Student visas. Well, student visas are limited in the fact that you are only supposed to work a maximum of 20 hours in a week. You may actually in the holiday periods work full time, but the problem is to contract in London, for example, most employers will want you to work for a longer period than the holiday period, and therefore if you're at a university or college, it therefore means that you have to go back to your studies, and during that period, if you work 40 hours a week, you'd be in breach of the visa regulations. So largely speaking, the student visa isn't suitable. The Tier 1, highly skilled migrant visa, is of course very suitable. The problem is it's extremely limited nowadays. There are quite a few people out there still with Tier 1 visas, but a lot of people now are finding it very, very difficult to get a Tier 1 visa. There's one category now, which is an entrepreneurial category for this visa, where you're supposed to be setting up a company. And working as a contractor with your own limited company can actually enable you to work effectively with this visa. The problem with it is it just takes so long to get. The last person I was talking to, it was over 8 months, nearly 9 months before they actually obtained that visa. The spousal or dependent visa. Now this sounds ideal because it means that you are the spouse of a partner, obviously, who has got either a British passport, European passport, or a visa which enables them to work in the UK or study in the UK, and therefore you have a visa allowing you to work. Now this means that you're actually not limited, so you could take a permanent job or you could contract. However, the problem you face is that an awful lot of clients won't take you seriously. Now, the big issue here is that they know that their employment or engagement of you will be dependent on someone else's relationship with your spouse or partner. Now, that therefore means that they are going to be slightly sceptical as to whether it's worthwhile or not to actually establish a relationship with you, offer you employment, and then try and work with you to get the very best from you, when the rug could be pulled out from you and them by another employer or organisation engaging your spouse. There is another employment status, which is indefinite leave to remain, and often people on visas, having been in the UK for 5 years, have successfully applied for their indefinite leave to remain. This means they're allowed to live and work in the UK, and usually after a further extended period will actually probably apply for a British passport. Now, the thing is here is that this is ideal for contracting with one proviso. Many employers don't understand it, and they don't know what you are and what you're entitled to, and therefore you need to explain it. The problem that you face is often with too many people applying for jobs that really they won't take the time or make the effort to actually find out whether you're a legitimate candidate able to work as a contractor in the UK. So it can be a problem. Obviously, if you do have a British passport or an EU passport, you're in pole position. And most employers will always prefer these people to anyone on any other kind of visa. However, if you do have a visa and you are entitled to work in the UK, you've got to really try to make it very clear to everyone concerned why you're able to work and what entitlements or limitations you have. If you do this, you've got a far better chance than trying to cover it up and actually being caught out. Now, that might sound a little bit negative, but what I can say, if you use an organisation such as Byte Consulting, we can effectively market you. And in doing that, we can ensure that we will vouch for you and make everyone very concerned, very, very confident that they're not going to be prosecuted in any kind of way or do anything illegal. In fact, we will guarantee the client that you are legally able to work in the UK and indemnify them from any kind of prosecution, fines or anything. Even though it's no risk at all, it's very important that we create the perception that you are the right candidate when you actually are the right candidate.